Hey everybody. So basically I'm going to be making this new YouTube channel, and there's a few reasons why I'm doing this. Basically, in short, I'm giving up my place of residence right now, and the reason why, I'll get into the why and why it's going to be a YouTube channel and all that in a second, so just bear with me. So how it kind of came to this is because living is it's basically so expensive, and if it's going to be like that, then I don't really want any part of it anymore. I want to be able to be free of the financial stress, and I want to be free to live my life. Up until this point, I was working 2 jobs. I had no time for anything, and I was always broke, and it's completely, utterly ridiculous that I would be doing all this and be broke all the time. I got stuck in a vicious cycle of having to constantly overdraw to pay my bills, overdraw to eat, and at first when I moved down here, I had everything set, ready to go. I was doing fine for a while, but then stuff started happening. My truck broke down, like the old radiator had to be replaced. That was expensive, and that happened around towards the end of the month when I had to pay rent, and that set me back. And since then, it just started piling up. The most recent thing that happened to get me to this point, the final nails in the coffin, were pretty much 2 things. One was I was tired of paying extra $200 every month for my car payment or my truck payments, and that was a loan I had to finish off. So what I did was I got to that point where I would, my bank account would be positive again, and I only had so much money because of how much I had to overdraw in one lump sum to pay these bills. Nobody was giving me the ability to put it all together or subsidize paying all this crap off at once. It had to be paid now. There was no excuses. We're not going to wait for you. All this crap. There was a term for it, but it's like escaping me right now. But I couldn't basically compile everything together into one go and try to pay it off. It always had to be throughout the month, and that's where the overdrawing and stuff would come into play. Anyway, so what happened was my brake lines had to be replaced. Essentially, my brake fluid was constantly leaking, and it had to be fixed. And I had to pay this bill right after I just overdrew like $200 to finally finish paying off my car payments. Like, I had to pay $487 total, and when the brake lines replaced, that was about like another $600. So in less than a week, I paid $1,000 I didn't have, and I was already behind on rent. And all that money that I paid that with was going to go towards catching up on my rent, and the next paycheck was going to take care of paying ahead for the next month. And it just didn't turn out that way. So now, after that, I wound up losing my second job. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but it wasn't justified according to a couple managers that I had worked with. There's a few reasons why they speculated that was. It was probably because I was always on overtime, even between both jobs. That's how much I was working. It was getting ridiculous. And they were just flat out, it just seemed like they were trying to get rid of me, even though I was the fill-in for everybody. So now they're even more short-staffed than before. But I guess that's their problem now. And without that second job to give me an extra couple $100 on top of the one I'm doing now, and being so far behind, just like losing it all, I had a couple options in front of me. I either sacrifice my living space, which is like, saves me about $650 every month, sacrifice my job and get a higher paying one, which I could have. I've had offers, but the job I'm doing now is an investment, and I'm very happy with it. It's not too often you get to do what you love, and I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to keep working towards that. And it was those two options, that or make horrible decisions that would amount to nothing. So I thought about it really hard. I'm going to get another second job, but I'm willingly giving up my place of residence. I have no problem with it either. I want this, I really do. And the reasons for that is because I want to be free. I want to be able to go wherever and do what I want. Like as kids, we think when you're an adult, you get to do whatever you want. And it's going to be exciting growing up. And then you get caught up in this system. And it becomes this cycle I was stuck in of trying to live, trying to survive, trying to stay afloat until all these loans and bills and shit were paid off. And I'm not going to settle for that. Like, I want to be able to go where I want and be happy and spend time doing things that people nowadays don't do anymore. Like, pay attention to the small things, hang out in nature, and exercise outside whenever you want. And this is what I want for myself. I really do want this, and I'm excited to do it. And it's not going to be forever. It's not going to be, I'm going to spend my life being a hobo or whatever. Basically, when I was doing the math to my annual income, I looked at this and I'm like, people who rent are killing themselves trying to make a living, save up for a house and all that as long as they're renting. They're never going to get anywhere. By the time they get enough money to have that American dream, it's too late, and then you have, I didn't go to college, but people who do go to college, they have loans, they are taking out extra money for 401k if they're responsible, an IRA Roth, which I used to have, but I, dissipated it to pay off my debts. It shouldn't be like this. So my new plan and going on out is I don't have any kids to tie me down or anything like that. I'm very young. I'm single for now, and it's just me, and I'm great at taking care of myself, and I don't take up a lot of anything really. I don't have to eat a whole lot. I don't require higher standards of living. I'm fine with what I got. Money is not a thing for me. In fact, I actually hate money. I despise it. It's the reason why we do so many terrible things in the world. It motivates people to do things like petty crimes and make bad choices. No more of that. I'm not going for it. I'm not biting it. I want to be a free human being on this earth, and I want to be able to have money on the side to live okay, have a meal a day, take a girl out, stuff like that. I want to do that. Take a girl to a restaurant again and have money and be okay with the expense. The only way to do that is what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to be doing this for a certain amount of time. Basically, going back to what I was saying, I was doing how much I make a year, and I'm like, instead of killing myself with this rent, the $650 some dollar, or even moving back in with parents or having to pay a little bit for helping them out and all that, if I just stick to the bare basics and live, out of my truck and go to work every day, work 2 jobs, because I was paying $650 something dollars for just a place to sleep every night. It's like an overpriced hotel. It's not worth it to me anymore. It really isn't. I don't need internet unless I'm going to do something like this or podcasting or whatever, but I can make do with that. We have Wi-Fi now. So that's all well and good. But, yeah, so if I saved up all that money and lived to the bare minimum and continue to work my ass off like I have been, like over 60 hours a week, good God, I do that, and I still can't get anything out of this. I can't. I have to keep overdrawing, wait for my finances to build up, wait for bills to be knocked down, loans to be finally dissipated, which I only got one left, really. And I didn't have dental insurance, so I had a procedure that needed to be done, and I got to pay that off too. But when that's all gone, that's it. All my money's mine. So by the end of that year, I'd have enough for a decent size fixer-upper. So that's what I'm going for. I spent a whole day today with my brother. He came down and helped. I'm about moved out. I got a few things left. See what the landlord says about that. They gave me extra time to get things moved out. Thankfully, the landlord's been very easy about all this stuff anyway. He's given me time. He's been gratuitous. He hasn't, bent me over backwards to kill me for this kind of thing. He's been very patient, and I appreciate him for it, and I thank them. They've been, that and the dentist office are the only two people that are willing to cooperate. Everybody else is just like, fuck you. Now, the next thing is why am I making this a YouTube channel? Because I don't want people asking me, do you need a place to live? How are you? Do you need anything? All this willingness to help. I don't want that. I'm trying to avoid sympathy by making a YouTube channel, which sounds hypocritical and counterproductive, but in a way it's not. And here's the reason why. Because if I'm spending my time staying out of my vehicle and doing all this, and people are asking, why are you doing this? And don't you need a place to stay? Go to a homeless shelter, all that. I'm not jobless. I'm just choosing to live more freely. But if I show them that I have a YouTube channel, I can avoid that sympathy and just be like, no, it's a sociology project. It's a YouTube channel. I'm doing this for views. That's why. And, like if I'm staying in a park or something and enjoying myself, and a cop asks me to leave, or why are you here, or you need to follow me to this homeless shelter, I can just be like, no, this is an experiment. This is, we live in a day and age where people constantly have a camera on each other, and they do it for views and that 15 minutes of fame. I can use that as an excuse to avoid sympathy, so I can continue being left alone and saving up money, so I can finally have a place of my own after about a year and a few months. So that's what I'm going for. And if you really want to help, all you got to do is just subscribe. You don't even have to watch the videos. I might upload something like, I don't know, once or twice, maybe a week or every 2 weeks. And yeah, you don't gotta watch the videos. I could just sit there and be like, look how many subscribers I got. It's a project. Just let me finish it. It'll be a year, and then go back to where I live. So that's why it's a YouTube channel. And as for the Survivor Kid name, that whole thing came from this video I watched of this kid who he was walking with this family. I was on a site that shows these kinds of things. He was walking with his family. It was on a closed circuit security camera, and they're going down the street, and a car just wipes out his family right in front of him, and even he was the only one left alive. And the comments to this video, one of them said, I wonder what was going through Survivor Kid's head while being so disorientated watching his family and not knowing what was going on. His family's not alive anymore. And I looked at that, and I'm like, this kind of like life. You see all the shit, everything you love just be taken from you, shit disappear, and what goes through your head, So that's why I took up the name. I was like, Survivor Kid. That's all I do is survive. Until now. Now I'm going to work to be something. And if something comes out of this, that'd be cool too. I'll just find ways to make videos interesting or something. Maybe survival tips. It's not like I haven't done this kind of thing before. I used to be a truck driver. So I've been kicked out of my house when I was first an adult on my birthday, actually. And I had to live alone for a while and figure out how I'm going to do this. So I'm not new to this kind of thing. I've had to do it when I was a lot younger. So I know where to shower. I know how to get by day to day. I know where to stay. The safe places are, all that. And I know that once I fix my bank account and start having income that's mine and not being overdrawn with fees, food isn't hard to come by, getting a shower, it's all easy, all you just do is stay in your vehicle and take in the money. So that's what this is all about, and I'm happy doing it, and this is what I want for myself, just for a year, just to see how much I can get out of it and make myself out of it. As for the podcast, that's going to continue. I'll just do it live at my brother's, and that's that. Other than that, nothing will change with the projects I work on. It's just that this will be done with my cell phone as I'm doing my thing. So other than that, have a good day.